Hey everyone, it's Tommy from the Goalie Crease Network, and today we are doing a very non-traditional review because I've had a lot of questions about my Fitbit. So I wanted to give you guys an overview video of what I use my Fitbit for, how it works for hockey, and specifically how it works for goaltending. So I'm going to take it off here so you guys can actually see. This is the Fitbit Charge HR, and so this is more the performance model, and I'll sort of step forward so you guys can see this. So this is what the face looks like, and it has a little texture, if you can see that. So that's really nice. And then it has this window on the front, so you can see here what time it is and how many steps I've done today so far. And let's see, which one is that one? That's my heart rate right now. And a couple other options here, including floors, how long I've gone, stuff like that. And in the back, of course, has the actual laser. So showing you that, there's a little green laser in there, and then this is where you charge it. So again, this is the Charge HR. So it takes a continuous heart rate, which I really like because I might work out at any given time of the day. I have a large family, I have a few jobs, I'm always playing hockey, stuff like that. So I'm always active and I don't always remember to press the little button on the side that will allow me to track my fitness. So this really allows it to track my fitness for me, which is really nice. So what I want to do, again, this is a very non-traditional review because I'm not going to stand here the entire time and tell you all about it, but I'm going to show you some in-depth pictures and a little bit of video about what their dashboard looks like and how it's helped me. So, but really quick, how it has helped me. Not only is this great for tracking, all of your activity and all of your performance and stuff like that, and it's really interesting to see what your games look like, especially in terms of your heart rate. Of course, it's not really going to pick up, distance or steps that well because you're skating. So, ultimately, one push, it probably equals one step, but you might be going, 10 or 15 feet, unless you're a goalie, in which case you're going 1 or 3 feet. But nonetheless, what I really like this for is for working out. And over the last, month or so, I've lost 35 pounds. So I don't know if you guys can tell that on the video, but because of all the benefits of wearing the Fitbit Charge HR and tracking all of my exercise and tracking all of my diet and calories and carbs, stuff like that, I've been able to lose 35 pounds in, a few months or so. So it's worked out really great. So what I want to do then is show you guys exactly what it looks like on my computer so you guys can see the dashboard. And I'm also a Fitbit Premium member, so I can look at all of my nutritional intake and make sure I'm getting the right amount of calories and carbs and protein and stuff like that as I'm working out. So let's jump over to the computer and I will show you guys the rest of Fitbit. Hey everyone, so this is the Fitbit dashboard, so you can see exactly what my daily intake and performance is. So you can see up here on the top left part, I am 86% of my goal for the day, which is 10,000 steps, which is what the American Heart Association recommends. You can also see my weekly activity, and I'll back it up here in a second so you can kind of see that, along with my recent exercise. So you can see that I have exercised a few times today, one of them extremely late night, which was this morning, and then a couple times during the day today. Now, going down, you can also see my heart rate for the last few days, what my resting heart rate was, as well as fat burn, cardio, and peak. So here's the resting heart rate down here, and you can see it's pretty low, which is typical for an athlete. And then up here is more my performance heart rate. You can also see my friends over here. You can see I don't rank very high. I have an office job most of the time, so I don't really do a lot of steps. And plus, like I said before, hockey, you don't really get a lot of steps in. So when I do play hockey, you don't really see a lot of steps. Now, I don't track water, but I do typically track my weight and my caloric intake. So you can actually see up here, here's the calories, and then how much I have left to eat for the day. Typically, I try to stay around 1,500 to 2,000, something like that, and maintenance for my weight is about 3,000 to 3,500, so that's been very helpful in losing weight. Now, if I back it up here, you'll actually be able to see last week's activity. So you can see I never did reach my goal, unfortunately, but on most days I got relatively close. On Monday it looks like I barely got close at all, but you can also see my other workouts. So let's go ahead and look at one of the workouts here, and let me pick one that is hockey. So I am going to go to my recent exercise here. I'm going to go to my activities list, and you can see here, this is today. I'm going to go to last Saturday, where I had a hockey game, and I had one that was early in the morning, and then I had another one that was at about 4. So you can see both of them here. You can also see that I had actually worked out for a little bit at about midnight, and then I had worked out again that day at 9 o'clock. So in this day, I had 4 different workouts. Or according to this, I had 3, technically, because I don't think it counted the later one. But nonetheless, that's all right. So you can see here the durations as well as approximate calories that I burned. And then you can see the steps, the distance. That's pretty typical because usually I'm just doing an elliptical or I'll walk on the treadmill for a little while since my groin's been hurt for the last about 2 months now. So I don't want to do too much, so I'm not really doing a lot of running. So you can see here I did a little bit of a walk, and then here's a sport, and then a workout. It looks like the one it might not have caught. Looks like it got this one, but maybe not the 4 o'clock. But you can see here, both of these were hockey, so you can see that this is just steps. If I go to calories burned, now you can see both of the hockey games very, very well. So you can see that I burned quite a few calories in that 8 o'clock game and also the 4 o'clock game. And you can also go into specific details of your workouts. So this right here is one of my hockey games. You can see this one was on a Sunday at about 5 o'clock in the evening. And the entire game lasted about 38, 39 minutes, something like that. I think maybe I hit my Fitbit tracker a little bit late, unfortunately, but you can kind of see what it looks like. So you can see that early on in the game, I didn't really get a lot of exercise early on. You're just kind of getting used to the game and trying to get your heart rate going. But starting in about the second period, you can see that there was quite a bit. So pretty much from then on, I was going pretty hard, and then you kind of tire out a little bit nearing the end. So you can kind of see what the impact of your day is. Of course, this is hockey, so of course steps are going to be a little bit different. But there were approximately 31 active minutes, which is really nice. And then burned approximately 484 calories. Of course, calories in hockey don't always work out one-to-one on these things, but at least it gives you a little bit of a sense of the impact on your day, which is really nice. So this one right here is a game in which I played goalie. So you can see it is very different than when I play out. So here's pregame again. I'm pretty much relaxing. And then you see very short bursts of activity, and that's pretty typical for goaltending. The play comes down, you might be moving a lot, you may or may not make a save or have to make a save that instance, and then you have a little bit of a rest period, and then here you go again. You're back, moving, making saves, hopefully not letting in any goals. But it tends to be in these very short bursts. Now you can see this game lasted about an hour and 4 minutes, and typically my beats per minute tend to be higher when I'm a goalie. So I believe when I was doing a little bit of an audit of some of this information, my approximate beats per minute when I play out is about 110, 115, and then for goalie tends to be 120 to 135, something in there. I also probably tend to burn more calories because at the end of the day, you might you're using all of your calories and all of your energy constantly having to stand there or move or make saves or hopefully not let in goals. Whereas when you are playing as a skater, you have long periods of rest between your shifts, especially if you're on a team with, 3 or 4 lines. So you tend to have a little more activity as a goalie. And you also have to remember that, when you're playing out, there's a large amount of time where, you might kind of relax as you're going up and down the ice, and then you're relaxing on the bench. But as a goalie, you have to stand there even in those relaxing times. So you might be moving around a little bit, or you might be watching the play, and so your body will react to the play. And then, of course, they come down, they take a shot, you have to make a save, and then go from there. So you tend to have a lot more activity as a goalie, I feel, and I think that the Fitbit itself definitely supports that. Now you can see down here, funny enough, as a goalie, it tends to track steps a little bit higher, and that's probably true too, because at the end of the day, you're on the ice the entire time, so you're probably skating around, stepping here and there. You also have quite a few calories burned and a lot of active minutes. Like I said before, when we were looking at that last one, we had like 30 or so active minutes, and now we're up to 52 as a goalie. So you can see there are definite differences between playing out and goalie tracking with the Fitbit. Now another area I want to show you guys is the Fitbit Premium. So this does cost $50 a year, so for some of you it may be worth it, for some of you maybe not. The reason I use it isn't so much for the benchmarking, but is more for the food report and to see how I'm doing on my nutrition. So let me show you guys exactly what this looks like. Now this is for this week, and of course this is Sunday, so it technically starts today. So you see that already, considering I have over 8,000 steps and the average is about 6,000 to 7,000, I'm ahead of the average. Now if I step this back a week so you guys can actually see here what is typical and what I generally do, you can see that again most people are getting almost 7,000 steps, but last week I only had about 6,000 steps per day. So you can see I'm only in the 36th percentile for all men and women, and I only had about 6,000 steps, which is 11% less than the median for men and women. So I need to step up my game, literally. You can also look at all demographics. You can see exactly where I am. So this is men, women, age ranges, stuff like that. I'm 32, so I am in this specific age range. And if I go back here, you can compare you to people who are under 25. Again, I'm 32, so if I want to just compare myself to men who are in my age range, and I am still overweight, so let's say overweight here, you can see that typical, 7,000, and here I am at about 6,000, so I am still under, so I need to, really step that up. But of course, like I said before, when I play hockey, it doesn't capture it one-to-one. So all of that, all of those strides and everything don't really get counted as a specific step. So you may end up coming out of a game with 1,000 steps, but maybe you actually ended up taking 2,000 steps or something like that. So that is a little bit different. Now, one thing that I do really like is this food report. And I'm going to show you guys here what I've been typically doing. So you can see that this is, again, last week. My average calorie intake is about 2,500, so that's about what I said before. And then burned, I am net about minus 310 calories, so that's pretty good. Now, down here, to lose 1,000 or to lose 1 pound of fat a week, you have to burn about 500 calories more per day. So as it is now, I would maybe lose about 1 pound a week. And I would say that this is probably pretty accurate for me because I'm not only trying to lose weight, but I'm also gaining muscle at the same time. So that's why my protein tends to be a little bit higher. My fat also tends to be high, and my carbs are low because I am reducing carbs in order to lose weight, but I am increasing protein in order to gain muscle mass. So it is a little bit different, but it is definitely working. You can also see here that I tend to not eat a ton for breakfast. I tend to eat a lot for lunch, and then quite a bit for dinner as well. Now, these after dinner and these any times tend to be protein drinks or some high protein bars. Afternoon snack tends to be like a protein bar, something like that. So you can see the average calories by meal, which can be helpful when planning out your meals for the week. Typically, I don't do that. Now you can see here that one reason I probably didn't lose a lot of weight last week, and in fact I actually gained a little bit last week, was because I was bad and I ate some original crust sausage extra large pizza from Papa John's. They had a deal and I had the kids and I really don't know how to cook that well, so you can see that I had quite a bit of pizza. I also had quite a bit of the Whey Gold Standard extreme milk chocolate. I also just drink chocolate and cookies and cream and mint chocolate. I do not recommend the peanut butter. That was pretty disgusting, and I'm not sure how I'm going to finish that 5-pound tub. But nonetheless, you can see I did that quite often, usually about once per day. I'll do that right after I work out. There's also these awesome Atkins bars, which I'm not doing the Atkins plan, but their bars are really good. They tend to be very high in protein and very low in carbs. So this caramel chocolate nut roll basically tastes the exact same as like a Nutrageous or something like that. It is incredibly good, and I believe there's only like 3 or 4 net carbs in the entire thing. There's 7 grams of protein, so it's not a ton, which they have a peanut butter bar, which you don't see on here, that I eat pretty often too. But those peanut butter bars, I believe, have like 24 grams of protein and 3 net carbs, so I tend to eat a lot of those as well. Fried pork skins, I absolutely love those. They are low in calories, no carbs, which is awesome, and they tend to be very high in protein, so like 7 grams of protein per serving, no carbs, and 80 calories if I remember correctly. So I tend to eat a lot of those. And berries, because of course you do need some fruit in here. I'm not a huge vegetable eater, but I do like fruit, and these tend to be low in carbs and calories overall. And then you can see a little bit more Papa John's, unfortunately. And then I do have some 3 net impact carb tortillas that are really good. They're called Mama Lupe's, and you have to get them at a special online store, but they are incredible tortillas, so that you're not eating 15 or 20 grams of carbs if you're trying to lose weight. These have 3 net impact carbs because I believe it's 7 carbs, but 4 of them are fiber, so you end up with a net 3. Now, the unfortunate part there is, you can actually fry them and make them into chips. So that's what I did. So I've been putting a little bit of vegetable oil on here just to make sure that I'm getting those calories tracked. So you can kind of see here, I'm not going to go through everything that I ate. You can see that there were times when I was extremely bad in terms of carbs. But, for the most part, I'm trying to eat relatively healthy. This is probably one of my worst weeks. If I step back a week, you'd probably see quite a bit. I was down to about 200 pounds on the last Saturday, and I think I went up to like 206 because of all this pizza and eating quite a bit those days. So, but nonetheless, I'm down a little bit more now, and actually I didn't mind that at the time because I had just come off of playing 3 or 4 hockey games in only a couple days, so I needed those extra calories, the extra fat, the extra protein, even the extra carbs to keep my energy level up and make sure that my body was able to repair itself. So I don't really mind gaining weight in that case. I will step back a week just to give you a little more information. So here you can see a little bit higher protein, quite a bit higher fat. This is where I tended to eat more summer sausage. It's a great lunch snack, and then very low in carbs, again, losing weight. So you can kind of see here, there's those nut rolls again. I absolutely love those. I eat 1 a day at the very least. Bacon is awesome. Guacamole, great fat. Qdoba, what I do, you always have to find something really healthy at every restaurant. And so Qdoba, what I like to do is I get a burrito bowl, no rice, no beans. That way there's no carbs until you get to the guacamole. But then I get a double full serving of chicken, their grilled chicken, and then guacamole. Just pile that guacamole on top and mix it up and eat it. And it is probably the most delicious dish that I've had in a long time. It's absolutely beautiful. Here, of course, are some protein things, hamburger, more protein, a little bit of fruit, a good Caesar chicken salad, some good healthy stuff. So this was probably a better week, whereas my week right after this was not very good. But the main point here is that Fitbit allows you to track this stuff. Now, there are, of course, some apps out there like MyFitnessPal, which are also really good. They also have a premium service, but most of their stuff is free, and you can get approximately the same information for free. But I like that I'm able to track my activity, my food, I can benchmark, I can track all of this stuff using my Fitbit Charge HR. So moving on to activity just for a little bit, you can kind of see that, I tend to be very active every day. I'm in the 97th percentile for this week. You can see calories from activity, my daily steps. It compares it from week to month to 3 months. You can see your activity frequency. It's just an incredible dashboard that really helps you. Another thing too is that my sleep doesn't tend to be that great, and so you'll be able to see here what I typically get for sleep a night, which I'm going to guess is probably about 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night. I tend to be pretty busy. Of course, they recommend between 7 and about 9 hours of sleep, and here I am way down here at just under 6. So this does automatically track your sleep time, which is absolutely awesome. You don't have to hit any buttons right before you go to sleep. This will track everything for you. You can also see how often you get woken up, which is pretty cool. So you can see all these different times. I was restless a couple times. We do still have a kiddo in bed with us. So you can see I was awake, restless at 6 a.m. and again at 6:31, a couple times at about 7:39. So you can see all these different times you're either awake or you're restless during the night. So you can see I have some better nights and I have some really bad nights. Those are those nights when you're getting kicked in the head by one child, and my wife, we still have a very young child who breastfeeds at night. So I tend to wake up at each of those times as well. So but nonetheless, you can see all these different times that you're awake, sleep efficiency, which is nice, and then the actual sleep time. Now, there's also a trainer portion of this, which gives you a little more recommendations for how you should be training. I don't use this, but you can create these fitness plans for calories per day and what you're doing, and then it will tell you, what you should be doing that day. Now, again, I don't use that, but if you are trying to lose weight or gain muscle, you might want to try this. The reason I don't is because I use bodybuilding.com for a lot of my exercises, and then I use this to track all of my activity. Another really cool thing, just to go through it really quick, is that there is a community. So there are activity groups if you are the competitive type. And there are a bunch of hockey people on here. There's 261 in this hockey one. And of course, I'm in St. Louis, so you can see here there are St. Louis Fitbit things. I really don't deal that much in these, but you can talk with other Fitbit users. You can meet up if you'd like to. You can play hockey together and compare your stats, stuff like that, if you really wanted to. So I hope that helps you guys see Fitbit Premium. So as you guys can tell, I am extremely happy with my Fitbit Charge HR. Not only does it track all of the performance really well, but then I can use the app to track all of my nutrition, as you guys were able to see. And of course, the result here is that an increase in muscle and a decrease in overall weight, close to 35 pounds now, which is pretty awesome. And I still have another 20 or so pounds to go until I hit my goal. So I think the Charge HR is going to continue on that task. Now, one quick thing. If you are a goalie or a hockey player who likes to take a shower after the game, you're going to have to take this off because it can't get wet. So it's really good with sweat. Haven't had any problems whatsoever, especially tucking it underneath my chest protector or tucking it underneath my blocker. No problems whatsoever in terms of sweat, but it's not supposed to really get really wet. So if you're, one of those people who takes a shower after the game, take it off. If you're a swimmer, you can't wear it while swimming. They do have other options for Fitbits where you can swim. So if you don't need the little window on the front, which I like as a reminder, you can certainly just get one of the other models that is waterproof, and that way you can swim or take a shower with it, which might be a little bit easier for some of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any comments whatsoever, or if you wear a Fitbit, let me know how you like it, or any other activity tracker. I would love to hear all of your results and your experiences. So definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and Good luck. I'll see you out on the ice.